Alright, so here it is. My first endorsement, of course, is by the team to welcoming my coming or my arrival. Of course, you see the billboard right here. Buy your tickets. I'm coming. Philly, you better be ready for me. Just kind of go through some of my, like the previous video, I did the interview and the draft. Pretty cool, in my opinion. Pretty professional to try to go through. You know, they give you basically 3 teams that you're going to get drafted by, and they pretty much bring in the GM and they ask you certain questions regards to their team and how you can fit into their team, whether you're going to be a bench player or maybe even a starter at some point. If you don't like the teams, one of mine was the Wizards, and of course they got John Wall, which is going to be, you know, their solid point guard for like the next about 10 or 12 years, whatever. So didn't really like them, so I pretty much kind of bashed it as much as I possibly could. I tried to do the negative feedback to the GM so they wouldn't draft me. I didn't mind, of course, the Sixers, which of course I got drafted by, but I was really hoping for the Knicks. I mean, how can I not be a little greedy to play with Melo and Amari? I mean, that would have been awesome. I guess I was just kind of getting greedy because last year I got kind of lucky. I got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, where I played with Joe Johnson and Josh Smith and Al Horford, and it really helped me progress a lot faster than if you were on a bad team and you really didn't have any playmakers alongside of you to really put up the points or play some solid defense, stuff like that. I know if it wasn't for me from last year, at least playing NBA 2K11, that if I wasn't the point guard on the Hawks, definitely I think we finished second in the conference. If it wasn't for me, they basically probably would have been like 7th or 8th in the conference, or maybe not even made the playoffs at all. Because when I first started out there, we went on a really bad streak, but then at the end of the streak, at the end of the season, we had like 18 straight wins going into the playoffs. But I'm kind of happy playing with the Sixers. I mean, I don't mind it at all. I mean, you got basically an aging Elton Brand. You got a couple young stars. I mean, Iguodala is, I don't know. He's okay, I guess. I hate him as an outside shooter. I like him more of like a slasher and stuff like that. But Evan Turner, of course, young up-and-coming star. Of course, you got Drew Holiday as a point guard. Hopefully, I can overtake him at some point. Spencer Hawes, not too bad of a centerpiece, I guess, to actually maybe do some pick and rolls or have him actually post up. He's not too bad down low. But Thaddeus Young, I'm really excited to play with him. Out of all the players, at least on the Sixers, he probably stands out the most, in my opinion, as far as the Sixers go. Just a few things of how I'm going through this before I even start like a game, because it's so different this year from last year. You don't have the pre-draft camp, you don't have the summer league camp to where you can really try to improve yourself, and you can't really manipulate the system, I guess you can say. Usually, last year you were starting off at 10,000 points, and you could usually, pump up your, your medium shot right away, so you can actually be a scorer from right up from the get-go, which I pretty much did all the time. And even going into like the drills and stuff, I would pretty much get a gold every single time. Going into that a little bit, it seems like they want you to use the shot stick more than the X button. The X button, usually, I did both last year. Felt more comfortable at the end of my run, I guess, on NBA 2K11 to use a shot stick rather than just using the X button all the time. But going through the drill a little bit and going through like Shootaround, it seemed like it was just a lot better, a lot more perfect release, I guess, if you will. Of course, the infamous green icon, perfect shot, is back to where you get the icon and you get the perfect shot, but yeah, it misses. I was kind of hoping they fix that at least this year. If it's not going to go in, don't give us that fucking icon, because you're kind of pretty much you know, as you see that icon, as you release the ball, you're pretty much thinking, okay, that's going to go in. But, of course, it doesn't. Got plenty of those during like some of my drills and stuff like that, and shoot around, and playing scrimmage here just to kind of see, you know, how my players play, how quick they are, see if they can make layups. I think 2K is kind of infamous for that. You'll get some players who can't make easy layups. So I was trying to do that, trying to do some like pick and roll stuff. Just trying to see how defense is, try to see how fast people are, what their capabilities are a little bit. Did a couple scrimmages, did a couple shoot-arounds, did my drills and stuff like that before I even start the season off, just because it's just so different this year. I'm not really expecting much, you know, out of the first maybe like 10 or 15 games. You know, I guess if you're like a point guard or whatever, or a shooting guard, you're kind of hoping the guy in front of you gets hurt, just so you can crack the starting lineup right away or a lot faster. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a lot more difficult. Of course, that's what they're trying to say, or trying to tell the community, that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to you know, rank up your player and trying to get into where you want it to be. It does seem different as far as, I mean, using the skill points and not having those extra games to really pinpoint the type of player you want to be right from the get-go. I mean, right from the get-go, I know last year I was just, you know, I wanted to be a scorer right away. I wanted to show that I can make mid-range shots more than anything right up from the get-go, and then I kind of just built up from there to where you know, I was pretty much averaging, once I cracked the starting lineup, you know, I was kind of averaging like anywhere from 15 to 1800 skill points per game, so I wasn't really worried about pumping up everything else, just because I knew I could score, and I could probably score anywhere from, you know, 18 to 25 points a game pretty easily. That's with, you know, dishing out and doing assists and trying to do rebounds and playing defense and all that. So just wanted to kind of give you guys a sneak peek of what's going on. I'm just going to try to basically do my videos like step by step. Probably going to do my first game probably tonight, probably maybe do a couple of them depending how many minutes I play and all that stuff, so probably look for those. Like I said, you know, I'm going to try to do about 3 or 4 videos a week on this, and probably going to do a lot more right from the get-go, but then, you know, I'm going to try to slow down a little bit because I really don't want to burn myself out in this game, because I really love this game. That's what happened to me on 2K11, because I was kind of late to the party of buying it, but I just kind of like burnt myself out because I played it solid for like a month. But video's ending, so stick with it. It's going to be a lot of cool shit coming your way. Later.